Hello, beautiful people, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's Gintu back again to the root of today. You are at one-on-one live coverage, and I'm just at this kind of the fish farm project that they're going to be having this kind of the way getting forward. And I appreciate the moment. And the day is today is the sixth day of the counting down the days to make sure that we're going to be having the burial ceremony to my dad, and everything is very fantastic as we just get forward to this kind of the point. We have the breaking news already that is just coming out. Today, I've met one-on-one with the Mwango. Oh, my living God. This kind of the lady has much of the things, and she's going to be expressing herself. If she's going to be talking about she need a gentleman and she needs somebody, she has to talk about I need somebody so they can just stay at home here. You know, when we deal with this kind of the circumphonious reasons, a person is talking about now I'm tired of just walking, I'm tired of traveling, I've traveled 70 countries. So you are resembling at Maro talked about he has traveled for 70 countries, and much of them they have been repetitively repeated, and every time going to be going there. Like you are talking about you have been to USA, how many times? You are counting how many times you have gone there. So she's always having this kind of an attitude. And she has talked about she's now going to be settling at the village because of the empowerment we have given them. And already they know the dignity of Gintu because I've challenged them terribly. Because they're thinking about whenever you have to go out so you can just make sure that you are getting much of the things getting forward at the grassroots here. So the good fact is I've just met with him today in Nyabohase, and she was being driven with Uncle Mo. And Lady J was there. And Lady J was just thinking about, oh, is Gintu going to attack my sister? Oh, my living God. I don't have such kind of the intercoms. Huh? So the good fact is I went to her because she was always there. So she met with me. I was having a motorbike, and they were crossing, and we met at that point, tap. And talked about, where we Gintu? You. I know you are looking for the content, you are doing whatever, but try to fixture much of the things. I talk about which kind of the things we should just talk about fixturing. So the good fact is she was telling me that she's going to be attacking me with much of the people. Right now, I talk about they have already been lured. They have already sat at the villa there with much of the police officers. They have already tongue-nized. Mambo, uko chonjo? Ili kusaidia? Aya, tutakutana. Mchango ni Jumamosi. Haya. So, asante. Nitakuona tu usijali. So guys, what is there is already coming to this kind of an essence, because she told me that she has sent the guy who bought the land from, and is the one to come and talk about going to be coming with actions here. So the good fact that has come out is one, I've called the guy and I've warned the guy, talking about if you attempt to bring your stupidity, you will know their true colors here, because they think about they're going to be used. And I framed him. I told him, when you will come to attack Gintu and you understand that who has attacked me, it's you. And when I'll go and report you, who will be taken and be arraigned, it's you, not them. So sometimes don't be used because of petty money is here. And if somebody is thinking about, you understand, whenever I'm not there, Angomo is speaking so loud and pathetic language. Talking about, whenever I'll find him, I'll just kick him. Whenever I find myself there, they cannot do anything because already themselves, I see them like an aerial manner. So there's nothing they can ever do to this kind of the caliber of the moment. And even they understand. There's a time I went to shoot much of the videos, and the Mwango herself and told the boy who he bought the land from, and talked about, I want you, for whenever you're going to be seeing Gintu passing through here, you just chase him and cry that he's a thief. So they can just come and mob justice ourselves to this kind of the guy. I talked about you're very stupid. I don't film whenever you think about, this whatever is going to be coming. So sometimes this kind of the people, you understand the 360 challenge. It was there. I don't know if she's going to be returning the 360 challenge. I don't know if she needs such kind of a challenge again, because I'm ready for it. I'm ready on it. Because if you're going to be coming and talking about Gintu, now I'm going to be having a 360. And that she was speaking. You Gintu. That's Lady J. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What do I want from you? Huh? if you know that Gintu wants something from you, you understand what you have and what Gintu doesn't have. That's the good fact. So you understand. Well, now whatever person can want from me is whatever, and you have your opposite, you have opposite gender, and you're talking about what do you want from me. So sometimes you have to understand the real program how it is. So that this kind of a defect that they're having into their brain, talking about they're gonna be coming and attacking Gintu, get that one out of your body and let it go. Because I was there and I talked about why do you want to use much of the people to come and attack me? Why can't you get down off the motorbike, come and just talk about Gintu? Do you know who I am? Slap me if you think about that is the way of just getting forward. That is not the real. Because right now, whenever I was just passing through there, and I was just passing then, Roshio was there. And during that time, and my friend who is now a senior bachelor, like the way I am right now, who is the Maro here, my senior bachelor, my friend. Yeah? My friend is senior bachelor right now. So the fact is one that we have to understand the real fact. Right now, we have the Ukambani lady, which is the sausage girl. She's going to be coming back to the villa. Because right now, my friend is a bachelor of science. I don't know if he's of science or a bachelor of, talk about, right now you can just give him the bachelor of the boyhood. Eh? So right now he has to understand the bachelor of villa. So right now it's called bachelor of villa. So the good fact is we have to understand. I talk about Rochelle was there, and she talked about, oh, Gintu has grown up. He's not the way he was. And I knew that now you have recognized the presence. So the good fact is they have to understand. Right now, even the Mwango, she has reduced terribly. I don't know what's the problem. I don't know if she has been pressed with too much waters. I don't know if much of the people have been baptizing her like a safari rally. I don't know. And it's like she has just really, today was, she was just wearing a white pant. And she was just, yes, I understand. The nyashes, they are there. There's no problem. But right now, she's not like the way she was. Even right now, there's no vehicle. I told you, no vehicle. No vehicle. It's no longer a vehicle there. So right now, they are just walking with the motorbike over Osio. The lady she was not even responding to. The lady who talked about, I don't need, or you cannot come to my house. So right now, they're talking about, no, you know, that kind of a woman is from there. So we have to understand Maro doesn't have a wife. So that is what they think about. But the good fact is right now, they're using the same motorbike of Rosio. That's the good fact about it. And Uncle Mo is the one now who is driving them carelessly and terribly. And Lady J is now patrolling, is now a patrol to make sure that you're going to be checking on how the environment is looking at this kind of the time. So what I can just tell them is I'm not intimidated muchly. That's the good fact about I can tell to this kind of the lady. So let's get forward and make it happen. We appreciate you are making a good project here, which is D Villa. I appreciate because what we need is development. But a development where things are not hindered. Talk about not a way of talking about, oh, today, when I called this kind of the boy who bought this kind of the land, I wanted this kind of the boy come and talk about, I talked about, oh, Gintu, you know, the Mwangos talked about, oh, this kind of, our family have talked about, they're going to be taking the title deed of this kind of the zone. Guys, this is the zone. They're going to be taking the whole of the title deed. They should be very punctual. This boy himself, he told me that he has been there and they're talking about, they're going to be taking talk about the title deeds of this kind of the plots, a whole of them, and they want to take over the game of this kind of the side. So the good fact is I asked about how going to be it happen. This kind of the boy told me that you understand, talk about the bachelor of the villa. Talked about, oh, you're going to be taking much of the students to school, every homestead that belongs to this kind of the village, including Pasi, when they took much of the children to school and talked about they're going to be looking for a sponsor who will be taking care of Pasi at that kind of the particular time, so as Pasi can give out the land. So that is the real fact that they're going to be coming. So right now, Ernesto, they have a problem. Right now, the plot has a problem. Even right now, I'm just speaking, they're going to be, oh, they're just stepping there, they're just understanding. That's the good fact. Because even Maro is just there and just listening to whatever I'm just speaking about. I have to lecture them. I have to give them the fact. Because right now we have to give out the valid things, not the way that, oh, no, we have to say how it is. That's the real fact we're going to be talking about. Right now we have to understand the real part we have to play as we are. Because if we don't play it, we're going to be played. And if we don't resist right now, we're going to be attacked and we're going to be removed out of our own zones. Like the way everything is just running, we should be punctual with our fathers. Right now, anybody who is an aged person in this village going to be deputized. gonna be deadized here. And I'm telling you the fact, because this kind of the plots are in the platform to be purchased and to be given to White Highlands. I'm telling you that as a fact. Because the boy told me that even him, whenever he's selling, he knows that previously it will no longer be available. Imagine, guys, the guy who he has sold the land to talk about the demon is talking about this kind of the land. I'm selling it because I know in the future I'll no longer be here, because the whole of the family is going to be taking all over there, all of this kind of the village, and just take it as a hot cake. And right now there's a hot cake in this kind of the space. Why do I say so? Things are getting crooked. Things are getting harder. Things are getting hardest. Right now we have to talk about how it is. But this kind of the time they're talking about going to be attacking into, be careful. Because things are going to be getting awesome and worse at the same time. I'll have to speak and I have to give them the little fact of the lecture so they can just understand, not the way that, oh, because you have a perimeter wall, because you have a gate, because you have a place called a villa. Yes, you brought the YouTube platform. Understand, because I had one of, whenever I was being transferred from the married to a bachelor of science, this kind of the person talked about, oh, you know, I don't have a hate with the amount. We don't have a hate, bogus things here. So the good fact is we have to understand the real statemental things of getting forward. Because this kind of the boy is telling me that, oh, you know, they were calling the police to come, and whenever they called them, they talked about who is the guy, we will call him, we know him, and we're going to be calling him. Right now, guys, I was ever talking about this kind of the people, they were taking us as a granted situation. Why do I say so? It's because whenever we are talking about Nye, they had already put money there. They had already known the police. So whenever they talk about, oh, we need Gintu, they come like it's a valley rally. So right now, they know Gintu, they know them. So whenever they're going to be talking about, oh, we need Gintu to be arrested, we need Gintu to be no. You know this Gintu, you know, police, I'm not understanding. You know this Gintu, I don't know what I'll do to Gintu. You know, this boy, he has been there. We are looking for this way of getting forward. And to the real fact right now, Lady J has already collapsed in terms of making sure he has to do whatever we have to say. Because already I saw him using another old man there. And things are going to be getting forward. As far as they have whatever, we talk about the development. Let's get forward. But if there's no development, we want to take an advantage of, again, like the way you took out of, I'll talk about this kind of our boy here called Matiko. It will be so stupidical and lunatic and psychopathical way. But we have to get forward. Keep it tuned, keep it locked. I'm going to be checking on this kind of the little facts, because I've seen much of the people coming to graze here. I want to be giving out much of the warning that I've ever been speaking about. This kind of the people should just get out of this kind of the zone. Right now, this kind of the zone is going to be remaining as green as possible. I don't need much of the cows here. And that's the real fact. And much of even talk about my bachelor of the bachelor of the Vira. I'm going to be coming and cutting much of the grasses here and talk about going to be feeding, because right now there's no food inside there. The talk about this kind of the horses, they are becoming so awkward and pathetic at the same time. So everything we have to understand how it comes and how it goes. The real fact that we're going to be having is we have much of the people who don't want to see development. And they talk about, and I'm just glad, talking about even the Mwango herself. She has seen that why is this kind of the small boys, they're just at the side. And I'm just proud of it, that we are just at the village. We're going to be making things and changing the environment wherever we are. Not that we should just rush around to where and where. Whenever she was talking about, you know, Gintu, you know how much I've been putting my ass down. You know, I've been shit here. I've been... Who sent you to go there? So if you don't have money, just keep quiet and come back to the real gigantic way. So right now, they're just waiting for the processing of the vehicle, because they have already sold the vehicle. So they can just have the D-Villa construction there to start, because they don't have the plan and they have nothing. So sometimes they're having hurrying, because so as they can just trigger much of the donations to come. And that's the good nature for us to go. Whenever can talk about, yeah, I want to go there and support. Very nice. That's very awesome. Let us get forward, and that is the way of getting forward and make it happen. But this kind of the gigantic and fabricated words that are just coming out to talk about, oh, because Gintu is reporting live from the village, and I'm going to be reporting it because I help who can understand Gintu. Because whenever I pass through one village to another village, and I pass through and solidizing much of the assets, because there's a time I went to the father to Ernesto, and I just talked about this is the road, that is the road, and the same day, the road now that I was talking about, now they started passing there. That is the good fact about it. What again do they need? Because Gintu can solidarize and can talk about this is not working good. So they have to comprehend their own statements and make it happen. So right now we have to understand the real fact of getting forward. So to this kind of the caribou of the moment, I talk about, I've seen, talk about a bachelor of the villa right now is just constructing a place of the parking, and they talk about that is nature. Let's get forward. That is what we need. But why are they constructing a mud house, which is a kitchen, and constructing a parking, which is just something else? Sometimes we have to gauge the program that is just onto the head. Keep it tuned. Let's get to know what's really picking up right now. Kwa ngarasi, mura tutakosana. Mambo iko poa, lakini sasa tutaelewana mura. Unaona siku hizi hata mdogo analeta hapa ng'ombe. Kwa nini? Sasa jua ni kwa sababu gani? Jua sasa nimekataa hakuna ng'ombe kupatikana hapa. Ni vile sisi ni marafiki bro. Usilete tena shida 2 3 zipatikane. Ndio maana ni sawa hata useme ati zinachunga, si nimeona mavya ng'ombe yako huko. Hawezi niambia ati ng'ombe ilikuwa inapita ikakune sehemu moja. Hawezi nidanganya. Sasa si ndio hiyo. Sasa bro, tusikosane, si ndio? Tusiendane mingi. Tafadhali mura. Asante sana. Guys, I'm sorting out this kind of the small petty issues here, because I told much of the people that are going to be coming to the fish farm here, because they're already coming to graze here, and I've refused, and I've talked about I don't need anybody. So I was talking about this is just the cow dunks here, and this is why they're just passing, they're just interfering, and I'm just asking him that we're going to be having a problem. Look at even this kind of the site here. It's already scrambled with much of the cows here. Now it's just leaking a lot of water from the fish pond here. So it's something that we have to understand. Look at this one. These are just the cow dung here. So I've refused that I don't need anybody to come to this kind of the site. So they don't want to happen. So sometimes they'll take Gintu as a bad person, whereas the other people are just making themselves, much of the people, to appear bad. So to the real fact, I always give a warning. The first warning, second, the third, now it will become something else, because I don't want to have such kind of the scenario. I have burdens at my home. I have much of the things to do at home, but it's not a good way of now expressing my all feelings, because it can hinder much of the evolution of emotionals here. And you can find that, oh, somebody is just hitting another person, talking about, oh, you came and this and this. So something which is not it's going to be controversing to our own ways of getting forward. So the good fact is I always warn, and if they don't hear about it, because right now nobody is accepted here, and already I've just told the police officers, talk about the chief area and even the village elder and much of the people who are just in concern with the security purposes, so they can just know whenever things are going to be getting bad. It's only that always I'm coming and getting much of the friends that I know, much of the people that we have ever grown with, much of the people that we have tangled in A, B, C, D, something which is very weird. And again today, guys, I've just got with a one-on-one because I called much of the people. I should talk about, I'm very, very sorry, because I said that I'm going to be employing Matiko as going to be working at my home starting this kind of the week on Monday, but it got us with another tragedy and it affected us a little bit. But he never occurred, he never came. And also I called him yesterday, and this is a fact. I called him yesterday and I talked about, hey, Matiko, where you come? So I want to talk to you so as you can just have much of the talk. Today, early in the morning, he came so as you can just handle this kind of the 2-3 equations so you can just understand what's the way forward at which kind of the rate. Then he came and right now he has just gone back to the liquor. That is the fact. So the people who think about Matiko has left the liquor, something terrible still is existing. What do I mean at this kind of the rate? Is a way that yesterday I met with them. They have joined themselves with the boy who sold the land to Mwango, and right now what they're doing is they're rotating with the bike and drinking alcohol, drinking liquor like something else, and now they're just talking about they're gonna be fine. So when I met with them, he was just like fearing not to enter the area that they're gonna be getting, because I was passing and I talk about the small tips where they sell local liquor. Talk about it's called here changa. So whenever it was the first boy entered, talk about the brother to Ernesto, entered that kind of a facility. Then whenever I entered, this kind of the guy now saw me coming and I was just bypassing, and he just talked about, hey bro, how are you? Hey, I'm waiting for this kind of the boy to come. Then I just went like I have just got a corner. Then I came back from where I came from, and he got in and was drinking much of the liquor. And he was the one who was driving the talk about the motorbike. So they have joined their hands. Yes, I told them yesterday. Then I just waited for them until they came and asked about, hey, Matiko, what's wrong, man? There's a time we met, me and Ernest, and we talked about you have to leave this kind of the liquor behind. What's really happening to you? And he talked about, no, you know, man, sometimes I have stress. Which kind of stress? I told you, come to my home, I give you the work. Even if we have the burial ceremony, it's a good time, because I promise you that they're going to be giving you the work, and I have the money already for me to pay you, and I have the money so you can just continue working. Even this kind of the funeral, it will take it very granted, because we need firewood, we need water, we need this kind of the things. We have cleanliness, we have cows, we have A, B, C, D. You can ever talk about I want to do this one, and also you can be supportive, talk about I want to be there, so as everything can just run good. But equivalently, I talk about it's something which is so controversial, so very stupid. I don't understand the real a gigantic way of expressing myself at this kind of the rate. Why do I say so? It's because much of the people don't understand that this is the legacy and this is not the legacy. This is the way to prevail and this is not the way to prevail. Why do I say so? It's in a way that we have to handle much of the pogroms at the same level. Whereby, if you don't understand that you are told to evacuate from this kind of the liquor, you have to evacuate from this kind of the way of mistreating your body, altering your health. And right now, he has been medicated too much over no liquor. But I hear even Ernest telling him that you should not go back, because you will just be something else. You will even be insane. You will be mentally challenged the way David Jr. went and just registered him as a mental challenged person. So the fact is that I told them today in the morning they have to come to my home, and he came very early in the morning. Then whenever I was just waking, they were there, and they were so liquored. They were just staggering. 2 of them. Right now, they don't live themselves. So I think right now they're just eating a lot of money. And the real fact right now, the money is getting to a finished way. And I'm telling this as a fact. Right now, the guy who is called Murimi doesn't have money, because I talked to him that what's really happening to your life right now? What's the problem? And can I have an interview? Very early in the morning. And I told them that because I was going to check on Mayani's case, so I can just handle it with much of the care, because we are going to withdraw the title deed that we put the bond. Already much of the cases is done completely. We have just already finished it. And congratulations to Mayani right now, is a free man. And I can talk about everything is fantastic. And I was there. Even right now, guys, I'm coming from that kind of the side to make sure that everything gonna be handled. Before I could just reach home so I can just wash the motorbike, because right now it's very clean. Before I could just wash the motorbike, my sister called me that, oh, Gintu, where are you? There's this guy who is just looking for you and is at home. I told him that come to the car wash. And they came. And again, he's not alone. They came with the same guy called Murimi. And they talked about, oh, my living God. So what's really happening at this kind of the rate? I talked about, okay, there's no problem. So how is it? And are you going to be coming, or you want an interview? Because we want to understand. If you have a reiterative talked about you're going to be taking liquor every time and now and again. Let us be informed. Let us get this kind of the way, so as we can just know, so as they cannot be giving us much of the headache at this kind of the rate. But what is really happening? Things are chaotic. People don't understand. People don't know that their health is just at a miserable way. And we are just laughing east, west, and south, which is very stupidical. Very stupidical. And that's the fact that I can never talk about. Because even the people who think about this kind of Matiko can come to my home, it will be miserable at the same time. Because if he has not even changed from this kind of the character, it's going to be very hard for me to control a person who is just a very bigger than even me. Sometimes it's going to be so difficult for me. Sometimes I'm fed up with such kind of the issues here. So the good fact is I will take care of God, talk about the boy, and also I have, it's because of this kind of the funeral, but I'm going to be looking for a good time that I'm not so much compiled like today, maybe tomorrow, because I talked about my father funeral fundraising will be on 14th, which is on Saturday, and we're going to be making sure that we're going to be having the fundraising to take him out. The budget is 300,000, which is approximately, whenever we're going to just convert it, 300,000 can just go or can run up to, let me see about the conversion, because I want to understand what's really happening at this kind of the rate right now. So it is 300,000 as a budget. Then you divide by 1, it's gonna be 2,400 US dollars as a budget. We have just already budgeted already, and we have a small scenario that we wanna be having, because we have to construct the grave. We have to start it very early, because we have to discuss as a family. We understand, we put the program together, and much of the people are eyeing about Gintu. What can Gintu speak about it? How can it be just right now, guys? It's gonna be like a perfect time that my dad has died, but in a perfection way that everybody is coming and looking at who is Gintu and who is this kind of the person and how is he gonna be saying something, he's saying A, B, C, D, and that is the little fact that we're gonna be having. At this kind of the rate I always talk about, we are having a way of us to get forward, and this is the way of us to get forward, because we're gonna be laid on 17th, which is on Tuesday, for internal peace and memory, and we're gonna be striving with his own memory and to our heads, because every time I can just remember like it's tomorrow, like it's yesterday it happened, because whenever I sleep I talk about, oh, my father died like yesterday, man, and something which is a controversy in my head sometimes. So sometimes I have to get out of my home to come like this kind of the nature, very calm nature, so I can just speak A, B, C, D, and also get at a free range air and such kind of a way, because everybody's coming crying, another person is coming from here, another person is coming this way. So sometimes we're going to be having such kind of the problem getting onto us. So the good fact is we're going to be making it happen, and the good fact is we are there to make it happen. So like today, guys, I told you, and today I've just got the same guy who they went with Ernest to Nairobi so they can just take Matiko out. He is my friend, and I've just getting that is the one who is coming with the cows right now, because I've refused that I don't need anybody to come at this kind of the sphere, come at this kind of the side and do any kind of miserable things here. But he's the one who is coming again to feed the cows here. Yet much of the people, they have planted much of the greens, talk about the maize to ever entire farm, and they cannot even handle a single piece of land that they can just even plant some of the napier grass to give their cows. Because how can you have cows but you cannot have the grass to feed your cows? Now whom are you going to be surviving to? Sometimes we are having such kind of a defect, and that's why I always talk about sometimes a human being. Some people are human beings, they can be controlled like a channel. They can be controlled. And if you want to control a human being, it's something which is very difficult. They will talk about, oh, you know, it's A, B, C, D, so awkward, so lunatic, so stupidical. So sometimes you have to gauge yourself on how we react. Right now, somebody can provoke me. I can react like I can react like a reaction in the chemistry platform. I can be berate some of the people and titillate them confusionally, so they can just understand that I have refused, that I don't need anybody here. Because I talked about I want to be having the mood mood like the congrats dad, but I will not be like him. I want to have that mood because you can never, because I could just park the motorbike there, not coming with it here. So I could just find him one-on-one from the farm here. But the good fact is I saw him and I've just warned the guy here. So it cannot be a tampering with this kind of the field because it's going to be having much of the awkward response at the front yard here. Because much of the people, they know that, oh, we are in the funeral. I said it yesterday, that much of the people think about now Gintu is in the burial ceremony and they're going to be not coming. I talked about I will be coming here regularly until I fence the land. After the burial ceremony, I'll fence the land. So as I make sure that I'm sealing completely, everything is sealed completely, and nothing will ever humiliate us, and nothing will ever bring much of the shenanigans, because they think about this is the way of it. They know that now Gintu gonna be compiled at this time. It cannot come at this kind of the site. So right now it's I can talk about it is 1626. And what I can say is we are having much of the controversial things. We are having much of the ways. So we are continuing good at this kind of the rate. And I understand that much of the people, they'll ever bear with the circumstances. Whoever is helping into contributing very much, I talk about kudos to that kind of the moment. And we are having much of the headache. Even right now, guys, I'm sweating like Safari Rally. So I'm finding that sometimes I'm coming to sweat, and it has really affected me. Because when much of the people, whenever they're coming at my home, much of them, they know that Gintu is the one who is staying at home. And the defect ABCD, we have some of the challenges that we're going to be having. But how can we alter and make sure that we're going to be combining the problems and combining the solutions, and to get a simple solution that we can talk about, we're going to be getting forward. Thank you very much, everyone who is just congratulating and talking about Gintu. Congratulations for 8,000 subscribers. Much respect and thanks. And much of the people condoling with us and the whole family. Right now, I've remained with only dad, only my mom, and she's also aged a little bit because of the nature, because of the environment, because of the hardships of moving forward, and the hardship and the pogroms, the intercoms that are always combined in the life situation. They are becoming older because of the life they have been passing through. Because if you gauge about how my mother, because my mother was not, talk about, never even get to class 8. She's a person who is a little bit getting to grade 5, grade 6 people. Because in the ancient time, whenever you could be just circumcised, talk about FGM gonna be happening, because it was happening, so they can control talk about they can control the appetite of women into the house. Because whenever they do the FGM, they are cutting some of the cylindrical, I don't know if it's cylindrical or whatever it will be, creatures, and they're gonna be lowering the appetite of getting out. So that kind of the time, whenever you are FGMized, so I'm not advertising for it, but I'm telling you the fact, because ancient time, our mothers, they have been passing through it. Even including my brother's wives also, they're going to be in such kind of a position. So even right now, it's continuing, but it has been abolished. No one is advertising for it. But the fact is, even during that time, whenever the FGM could happen, the mothers could leave the school, because already the FGM has happened. That's where now the luring and the lunatic way of the ancestral time, no women, they were not even more educated. Why? Even right now in Kenya, education, there is something called women representative in our own talk about the political leadership. We have women representative, but we don't have men representative. Why? Because much of the men have been left, much of the women, they were left behind in terms of education purposes. Even coming to the political arenas, political issues, our women were not taken as a granted situation. They were taken as something which is by the way. So to that kind of a way, they came with this kind of a formula that no much of the FGM, and they started educating ladies, because they said that ladies, they can make it very better than even a man. Even there's that kind of a phrase that came that was talking about what a man can do, a woman can do it better. So they can be, it's not the right thing, or it can, somebody can talk about, yes, Gintu, it's the fact. No, that what a man can do, a woman can do it better. No, it's not a fact. It's just something that was coming out much of the words that were coming out so as they can motivate, they can give morale to the ladies so as they can keep themselves knowing that they can do it even better than men, even better than the gentlemen here. That is the fact, and that was a good threshold for them to go forward. But when we can talk about such kind of a way, my father understood such kind of a program. Our mothers were being married, they were illiterate. So whenever you see much of the children, like Ginto right now is a learned guy, it's because of the mother. She understands the education system. She knows that this is education that will help the future, because they know the hardship, the intercoms, the postcoms, and the interlogicoms that they have been passing through so that they can just be the way they are. So that is the little thing that I can just talk about right now. And the little fact that I'm going to be having already is that we have to consider much of the thinking capacity that we always phrase out, and also we gauge it, because in the ancient time, this kind of our mothers, they were doing hard work, very hard work. You think about they were in Mesopotamia. You can understand the Mesopotamia. Talk about is Iraq and Iran. Huh? Mesopotamia-ish. Talk about agriculture in ancient Mesopotamia. Huh? You understand how the labor was. They were using some of the tools, chisel-like, and to weed much of the things. And we talk about our culture is called Bantu culture. This Bantu culture is a culture that is cultivators. So they have to work in farms. And also, they are hunters at the same time. So during the migration from the ancient area you were to the present area you will be, you have to look for a piece of land and start a home. How can you start it? Much of the people were dying during that time. Even my father was telling me that very anciently, just here in Maro compound, to the far end there was a very big war that was being fought here, because of the tribal things, and also talking about the boundaries. You have to understand this kind of the process, how they are. So this time, much of the people were being killed like safari rally. And during this time, the survival value during that time was very low. What do I mean at that kind of the rate? Even to the real facts, the brother that I'm having as a firstborn is not the firstborn. The first one, and the first one died. Why? Because of the time it was having malaria. It had been attacking them. They never had penicillium. They never had this kind of the Lonat, talk about the Lonat medications that were given to that kind of the time. There were no much of the nets, because the nets, now they were introduced so that they can just take out this kind of the Anopheles mosquitoes, which is the female that transmit much of the diseases from one person to another, which is the female Anopheles mosquito, and there were no such kind of the mosquito nets. And it's just the AIDS. Talk about the German aid, talk about the WHO. There were the which kind of the NGOs that were bringing such kind of the things to Kenya. And also malaria was like AIDS, because malaria during that time, it was killing people in a bulk. Even right today, malaria is killing most of the young generation. Why do I say so? Because you have to understand where the legacy, where the legitimate way of much of the people are surviving from and to. That is the nature of us to get forward. So when you start getting that kind of the information from the ancient time, how they have been surviving until I was born, Ginto has been raised until the way he is right now. I'm speaking to the camera, elevating much of the people, giving people hope so that they can just know that tomorrow is another day. Never ever disclosure yourself and talk about, oh, I've lost the hope, I cannot do anything. That is a total failure. You'll be a failure in terms of that one. Keep on shining, determine, focus, and make whatever you want to do, and you will go forward. Because when you start talking about now, oh, I see Ginto, he has constructed, me, I am 30, Ginto is 25, Ginto has constructed a G castle, Ginto has a land, Ginto has fish ponds, me, I am 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, you have nothing. Even whenever you plant maize, Ginto plant becomes good, yours becomes like this is started to grow the maize here. You start talking about now, what is the problem? The life is becoming hard. That is the way, because even the Bible during that time. Talks about this kind of the guy who was told to mock God. So as he can just talk about why are you, if you know me, why are you leaving me this kind of the problem. Talk about the lady who was bleeding. Talk about the bleeding for 12 years. But she never gave up. Who are you? And talk about even in Kenya, we have a good example in Kenya. You can talk about, we have a person called Raila Amolo Odinga, who is just an opposition leader. Since I was born, I got him there. And my brothers even got him there. And he's still in the government to date. He has been arraigned. He has been jailed. He has been hit like a safari rally. He has been chased. He has been tear gassed. He has been done every sort of the illegal stuff you can do to a human being. But he still exists and is in the government. But what are you just meaning whenever you say that that kind of right now you're going to be 80 years there. If you're going to be 70 to 80 years and is still in power and is making it to happen. Who are you? You are in 25, you're taking about, you have just lose hope. You will now be like something which is, maybe you don't have common sense or brangata outside here. Now this kind of the address is coming to this kind of the little boys here. Because I've been talking about the way of us to get forward from this kind of the place. Much of the boys right now, they talk about life is hard. They are selling lands. They're talking about life is hard. Yet whenever you sell a land, there's nothing you can do that I'm going to study so as I can elevate and get much of the knowledge to my body or much of the knowledge to my head so as I can continue with the life, which is the good life to continue at the far end, or my children should get a good life. You are selling a land to go and buy a motorbike and dance the other money that's remaining. And you're talking about now I have my land, which is an asset, stupidical of the highest order, which if we don't assist and we don't engage in such as can give them awareness, we will lose much of the boys and they'll go to depression. Whenever now we're going to be selling even his home. Because even right now, he has been given money, 300,000, and he has bought a motorbike 150,000. It has remained 150,000. He has not even built a toilet. He has not even talked about I want to do something which is very good. The sister is in school being supported from out. He cannot talk about I have a sister, only drinking and think about that is the life, and that is where the losement of us we are just heading to. But if we frame it, much of the people talk about Gintu is because you have money, or Gintu is because of this one. There's a time even Gintu was now worse than the way you are. There's a time I was worse. Even getting a meal a day, it was a problem. And I was in high school. I go, come cut grass, feed the animal, go back to school. Come back, cut grass for a week, compile them, and live. Guys, it was a headache. So even if I see my mom right now, she even understands my real power. Even right now, guys, I'm telling you the fact that even my mother dignify my own, if I can just have any kind of an absence, my mother can feel like something, it's a very big gap. Because she understands the real way of getting forward. She has been encouraging me. My dad was ever encouraging me too. But we are having much of the other people who never liked it, like Joseph there. You understand, whenever Joseph talked about it was being thrown to a hole so as they can just stay there and be eaten whenever they were. And this kind of the brothers went back because they were 12. And Joseph was the number 12. They never knew that it will become something bigger. Now they sold the guy and not knowing. So right now we're going to be having that. You can see that this is your brother. And we are having still a conversation so as you can just handle much of the matters here. Much of the people, they're going to be talking about, we're going to be building my father a grave. Talk about to construct it with bricks from down, and they should be having like a lid on top, because even if you don't do it today, whenever you will be coming to review, talk about we want to do, talk about maybe we want to go and talk about we have finished anniversary, talk about we have finished 1 year, so we want to bring much of the people to pray here and there. You will have to build it so as they can have been recognized. So we have to do it right now, and that's the thing that we're going to be starting tomorrow, to dig the hole and also make sure that we're going to be constructing it with an immediate effect, and that is the nature we're going to be doing right tomorrow. That's very fantastic. So at this kind of the particular point I talk about, much of the people have been supporting Gintu and talking about Gintu, you have to get forward. That's very fantastic. And I say that kudos to everyone who has been supporting. And guys, don't fail me on Saturday. Guys, support Gintu so they can just have the fundraising, so they can just reach $202,400 US that we are just required in terms of the whole budget, so they can just be ranked. That is just a small budget that has been done so as they can can just have Mzee Patrick Sigano Mwita to be laid where necessary and to his internal peace, so he can just be engaging at that kind of the way forward. So I appreciate this kind of the moment, and I like whenever I say that this is the way we have to go forward and make it happen. If you're going to be supporting Gintu, you can send via Ria Money or Western Union or MoneyGram. It's Samson Gintu Sigano, Samson Gintu Sigano, +254 700 490047. And also you can just send through one-on-one, so as you can just meet. If you are coming from Texas, you can just use Western Union. If you're out of Texas, you can talk about MoneyGram or Ria Money. It's very fantastic because out of Texas, it was just abolished. It cannot get to my own phone if you're coming out of Texas. So that's the little fact that we're going to be having at this kind of the rate. And I appreciate much of the people tangling and making it happen, because you have to make it happen as far as we get forward. So as much as everything is in concern, I've already sought much of the things here and there, and much of the things will be coming to you live, which is one-on-one. Keep supporting Gintu, because we are road to 10,000 subscribers. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. And this is the brim point of talking about we're going to be getting to an end of this kind of the video, because tomorrow is another day. Let's go forward and just make it happen, because we are we shall be we will be we as we are. It's underscore Gintu. Much of the lecture and the funeral services and curriculum on how it is, and much of the shenanigans that are prevailing, and the entire way of making it happen. And this is the end.